Slavery, a topic that has been greyed out, tossed aside and ignored largely by the government. But what do the public think? How does slavery affect me and you in our day-to-day lives? Are we really aware of the current situation? We interviewed some local young people that took part in our slavery sessions over the past 10 weeks. How have you enjoyed learning about slavery?
I've enjoyed it a lot, and yeah, it's been a very positive and good learning experience.
Yeah, I have enjoyed it thoroughly. The lads from the radio project have put the sessions together really well and made it really enjoyable and listening to them and everything. So it's been great fun, yeah.
Yes, I have. I found it very interesting. I've learned quite a lot. I know a lot more about slavery, what types of trades there are, what actually goes on in the world today.
Well, I've enjoyed it very much. I didn't know a lot about it before. Now I'm kind of informed about it. I think it's something that needs to be tackled, and I did. So yeah, I have enjoyed learning about it.
What did you think about slavery before the session started?
I knew absolutely nothing, to be honest. Learning about it's been actually quite good.
I did know some of it, but I wasn't too sure. Now that I'm informed, and it kind of just shows that I actually didn't know anything. But yeah, I knew a little bit about the sex trade and all I knew a wee bit about the organ trade as well, but I didn't know it was that severe.
I didn't know much, but I knew a little bit. Like, people were put in sex slave and people being used for slave labour and organ transplant and thieving them, basically. So, but we've gone into more detail, and it's shocking the stuff that happened.
Well, I knew about it in a roundabout way, but the details have been a very interesting thing to examine, and I certainly didn't know as much about modern day slavery, and learning about the history of slavery has been really good as well.
What was the most shocking thing you have learned during the sessions?
I think the extent of the history of slavery and how an entire race was treated as livestock and property for several hundred years has been a real shock to me, and the impact that that's had up to the present day, that has to be pretty much the most shocking thing that I've come to realise.
I'd say the age of the children that are basically abducted or whatever, sometimes as low as 5-year-old and nothing. So, and then they get raped and everything afterwards. It's no nice at all. It
has to be the age of some of the children that are getting exported. They're only 5 and 6 year old. They're sometimes younger. They're getting put into brothels and stuff like that. I think that's more shocking than organ trade, because fair enough, for organ trade you're still alive, but if you're going to go into that certain type of situation when you're that young, it's going to severely scar you for life. I think it's just sick. It's inhumane.
The organ trade was very interesting. I didn't know that was going on, and just the fact that folk are actually doing that, picking folk off the streets and just basically massacring them.
Do you think slavery is more severe today than 200 years ago?
Yes, I do. 200 years ago it got abolished and stuff, and it was nowhere near as bad as it is now today.
Well, it depends what you mean severe, but I think in certain aspects, yes it is, but in certain, the transportation side of things, I don't think it is as severe. Obviously all the black slaves got put into a big slave ship, and they were not given food or water unless they really needed it. Whereas nowadays, they get put in a bus and, they don't exactly get taken care of, but it's a lot more humane than it was 200 years ago. But in the sense that it's more severe, as in young children are getting raped and they're getting their organs cut up, that is more severe than simply getting put into a cocoa plantation, for example. I think it depends how you word it, but yeah, at the end of the day it is more severe, I think.
Well, in some respects, yeah, no, but the transporting was more lethal back then, and loads more died, and now these days hardly any of them die. They just basically get picked up at the airport, bus stops, train stops, whatever, offered a job, they take it, not really thinking, and that's them into it for the rest of their life.
I think slavery is more prolific today. The numbers certainly say that, and the extent and the effect of slavery is probably bigger, because everything in the modern world is bigger, but the slavery is not as overt, it's not as accepted as a practice as it was in the past.
Do you think people are aware of how bad modern day slavery is?
To be honest, no, I don't think they have a clue.
No, as I said, myself, I wasn't aware of it, but now that I actually think about it and I've learned about it, I can say that I don't think people are aware of it. If people were more aware of it, then there'd be more getting done about it. But I don't think the government actually cares, because they're making money out of it, so it's something they say is like a grey area and they can't elaborate on it. That's basically what I think. I don't think people are aware at all.
Obviously not, because in some of the sessions that we've taken, some of the people have been shocked by the stuff they're hearing, and they basically were interested in it. They didn't know much about it.
Well, that's really the issue, that people aren't as aware of how slavery affects them in the modern day. In the past, it was just an accepted part of life. These days, people, certainly in the privileged world, are not aware of how slavery impacts.
Thanks for listening to this podcast from the Perth and District YMCA. If you'd like to find out more about slavery, then there are lots of very informative websites such as stopthetraffic.org, or you could listen to some of our other podcasts.